There are few greater challenges facing the international community today than how to provide safe, durable, legal and humane solutions for refugees and other forced migrants. Addressing this challenge is why the Kaldors Centre exists. What are the benefits of a centre as opposed to me being an academic doing my own thing? Well, I think one of the most crucial things has been this has created a space that has drawn attention to a profoundly important issue. And it's enabled us to build the next generation of scholars working in this area. And it's created a space internationally where people recognise that this centre exists and that this is an area they might want to work on. So it amplifies the message far more than one researcher could ever hope to do. The capacity we have to do that is thanks so much to Andrew and Renata Kaldor. In the 3.5 years that we've existed, we've shown what can be done, but also we've learnt what more needs to be done. And I think that's where we hope that through people like our PhD students, they are the people who will take this forward in the future. And we're very, very grateful for that opportunity. So thank you.
I was born in Budapest in 1946. In October 1948, on a Thursday, my father was told he was going to be arrested on Saturday. He'd had a pretty hard war and was one of the few who managed to survive, as did my mother. And he decided that it was enough. He'd had enough of totalitarian regimes and we were leaving. And through my mother's father's connections, we were sent into the country near the Austrian border and eventually contacted people smugglers who put us up for 3 days and nights and then attempted to cross into Austria. My mother was given fake documents. The night we were leaving, I was drugged, and we set off through the woods. After about a couple of hours climbing the hills, some lights were seen. The smugglers panicked and left us in the dark, and my parents continued not knowing where they were until, luckily, fortuitously, they bumped into a patrol of Austrian soldiers. Now the soldiers said, "We can't accept you, you have to," because at that time the Cold War was starting, and they said, you'll have to turn around and go back, we're not allowed to take you anywhere. My father said, "Shoot us, we're not going back." And the soldiers, after some consideration, said, "Well, if you follow us, we're going to pass by a village where you might get some help." And so my parents started following these soldiers, and eventually, after falling into a river and other hardships, at 3 a.m. in the morning, our family was taken in by a woman who Dad knocked on the door and said, "Please help us." I give you that story because my father threatened to kill us all, or to have us killed if we can't go back. We were using people smugglers. We had false documents, and we broke the law in leaving. So we were sensitive to the stories of what a refugee experience is like. A colleague of Renata's, from another board she serves on, is also an advisor to the law school here, and he asked her opinion about corporate funding for a proposed centre for refugees. And Renata came home one night and said, "Look at this, I think this is a great idea, but I don't think any corporation will fund it because it's too hot politically, and I think we should." We had to do it, and wanted to do it. What convinced us was the idea that you could have a centre that had the authority of the university, that had the power to find the evidence that would eventually create the ideas and concepts that will change people's mind. Ideas do matter, they take a long time, but there's no better place than university for that particular approach. We're delighted to be here. We're delighted to have been given the opportunity to be involved with the university, and I encourage you all to donate. Well, Renata, do you want to say anything?
No.
No.